Shalom, friends, and welcome to Walking the Ancient Path, where we journey back into the language, landscape, and life rhythms of the Scriptures in a lighter, more accessible way, exploring the world of the Bible as its original listeners would have experienced it.
We're continuing from where we left off last time, exploring the trail of the Apostolic Prayers, rephrased in the rich language of ancient Hebrew concrete imagery. We'll delve into the soaring intercessions found in the letters of the apostles. Prayers woven with covenant, inheritance, household strength, and the nearness of glory. There's so much treasure ahead.
2 Peter 1:2-3. A blessing of abundant knowing and power.
May the waters of favor and wholeness rise in your life like a flooded river, not from learning alone, but from knowing Him. Not from formulas, but from face-to-face walking with the one who called you out of darkness by the blazing fire of His glory. His power has already placed in your hands all that is needed for the journey: the staff, the cloak, the oil, the bread. Follow the shepherd and you will lack nothing.
1 John 5:14-17. A teaching on asking in the will of Yahweh.
This is the confidence we carry like a pouch close to our chest, that when we speak to the tent maker, he bends near to listen. And if we ask for what pleases his heart, not for selfish gain or crooked paths, he will open his hand. If we know that he hears, then we know that what we've asked is already making its way to our tent. And if anyone sees his brother straying near the edge, stumbling toward a pit but not yet fallen, let him cry out on behalf of that brother. And Yahweh will send breath, life renewed, back into that wanderer. For not all sin leads to the death camp. Some paths can still be turned, so pray, but with discernment. Pray as one who watches the sheep at night, alert to wolves, but with hope in your voice.
Jude 1:24-25. A doxology to the one who keeps the tent upright.
Now to the one who is able to steady your steps, who can keep your foot from slipping on loose stones, who can keep your tent from collapsing in the wind. To the one who brings you, clothed and upright, with joy still glowing in your breath before the face of His glory. To the only wise one, the tent maker, the fire dweller, the shepherd of Israel. To Him be weight and honor, rule and song, from before the first tent was pitched to the day the final tent shines like fire. So be it, so it is.
Acts chapter 1:24-25. A prayer to choose a shepherd for the empty place.
O Yahweh, knower of hearts, the one who sees not as man sees, but who walks among the chambers of the inner man. Show us which man you have chosen to step into the empty place. Let him take up the staff Judas dropped, and stand as a witness at the fire of resurrection light. You who chose the tent and tribe of Levi, choose now again.
Acts chapter 4:24-31. A prayer for boldness and fire in the face of threat.
Sovereign Yahweh, maker of the wide skies and the deep earth, who spread out the heavens like a tent cloth and breathed stars into place. You saw the shaking spears of the nations. You heard the threats of kings. You foretold their roaring through the mouths of prophets. And now, in our day, they rage again. But we do not fear their stones or prisons. Stretch out your arm, send signs like thunder, healing like spring rain, wonders that split open the hearts of men. Fill our breath with boldness that we may speak without shrinking, as ones who carry fire in clay jars. And when they had spoken this prayer, the ground trembled beneath their feet. The tent of Yahweh shaken but not torn, and the breath filled them anew. They went out, voices like trumpets, unafraid.
Acts chapter 6:6. Prayer over the servants of the camp.
They brought the 7 men before the apostles, whose hands bore the weight of the staff. The elders gathered and stretched out their arms over them. With prayer they passed on the blessing, not just of words, but of fire and burden, The 7 were marked, not with oil or robes, but with the breath of purpose and the strength to serve bread in the name of the King.
Acts chapter 7, verses 59-60, Stephen's dying prayer.
As stones broke his bones and dust filled his lungs, Stephen lifted his eyes to the veil torn open. Master Yeshua, receive my breath. Gather it like smoke from the altar. Then, falling to his knees, even as his body broke, he cried with a voice that split the silence. Do not hold this weight against them. Let their names not be lost in the scroll of mercy. And having spoken these words, he slept.
Acts chapter 8, verses 14-15, prayer for the breath to come.
When word reached Jerusalem that Samaria had opened its tent flaps to the Anointed One, the apostles sent 2 elders, Peter and John. They did not come with swords but with open hands, and they prayed, not for blessing alone, but that the breath of Yahweh would fall, that the fire would not only touch their heads but burn in their bones.
Acts chapter 12, verse 5. The camp prays, while Peter sleeps in chains.
Peter was bound, iron on his wrists, soldiers on both sides. But the camp did not sleep. In many tents, voices rose like incense. No sword was lifted, but the heavens were stormed by prayers that would not rest. And Yahweh heard.
Acts chapter 13, verses 2-3. Prayer and fasting before sending out the messengers.
As they ministered before Yahweh with songs and open hands, a word came like wind through the trees. Set apart Barnabas and Saul for my work. So they fasted, they pressed their faces to the earth. They laid hands on the 2 men, not to keep them, but to release them. Then they were sent, not alone, but with the breath at their back.
Acts chapter 20, verse 36, and chapter 21, verse 5. Tears, knees, and parting prayers.
When Paul finished speaking to the elders, he fell to his knees among them. Like shepherds gathered for the last meal before the paths split, they prayed with arms wrapped around one another. And again on the shore, as the ship waited, husbands, wives, children, elders, all knelt in the sand. They wept, they prayed, and they entrusted one another to the tent maker's care.
This completes our walking the trail of the Apostolic Prayers, reworded in the rich language of ancient Hebrew concrete imagery. We stepped into the soaring intercessions found in the letters of the apostles, prayers woven with covenant, inheritance, household strength, and the nearness of glory. These are great prayers to meditate and reflect on.
If you listeners have areas of interest you'd like to explore further, questions or comments, please don't hesitate to let us know.